me. Say, what's your budget way? I say, I'm a myself to say growth so by 4%. Then you turn back to tell me, say, akufo-addo criminally manage the country. A criminally managed country has given you a growth of 5.7 to 8.
What so be you?
What targeting for? Look at the comeback. What I say? And no magic be any more amount targeted. The issue is that they have allocated more for their mouth consumption. Check the budget. Sika Omotra to pay judgment debt. You see, judgment debt, we had it previously 2020, 12 as a day, 2008. After the Dukufoko, and yet judgment debt to medical budget. The intention is that in conformity the Ghana be court. Enti ya disika shame na omo de yakọ quarter na ye wuro mana judges a bua e de amani pa no aba ene ye budget mu ne tua na create loot and share. This is doche no created you know. Because look, most often judgment debt normally go to contingencies because you don't intentionally plan for it. How can you plan say me planning the Ashabajem line item? Say obidi Ghana beko court ma Ghana di guguo no metua kwan. Can you imagine? Those things are put in contingency. Say a CDR not in a budget no you have to be a contingency or unexpected event. With the woman a line item. And they did that to 2008. That was 2000 now Wyoming 54 million and now Wyoming nya ano. To me call government terminal. Size to be called Ghana terminal. So protect ho. Wyoming. And the same thing they've done. Yeah. Near a man line item judgment dead. Uda kokoshe. Bisasa agenda 111. Capital project. Near betuma properly growth. Bisasa hina umudishe. And that is what we are saying. Okay. What you are saying. Look, if you take the budget, champion, like I said, you know, with 88 ministers akufo-addo time, say almost you know, the budget ministers, you know, emolument ni ade na so any staff, you know, or they put together. Akufo-addo that time used 3 billion. 3 billion. Oh. This time, this budget allocated 11.5 something billion to Jubilee House to pay compensation near your budget to welfare cast 11 point something billion, and it's about 7 to 8 times of what akufo-addo used. Into a link government, you know,
away,
no way, and. What is the strategic way you want to propel growth? And all these things, let me tell you, IMF, they know, they have professors, they know what is good and what is bad. And they know a good budget and a bad budget. That is why a good for to prepare budget because when they look at the dynamics of the budget, then they realize this man is really serious. When a person may achieve growth, when a person may say, but when they say, data I'm the call my IMF. So what to quite reason? It's equal. I'm manufacturing your back will give another wrong impression. And I'm called that down for the renegotiation. Oh yeah, IMF deal. And I'm the question I'm saying, hey, actually. And yes, I knew about your co read and the company after money away. And I win him. I'm the question not they wanted some renegotiation of the 3 billion. And Mamim really reason IMF refusing one. See, the economy you have inherited is so strong enough to be able to sustain itself. So you don't need the help. Yes. Yes, I see the economy is so strong. Because they look at certain indicators. Okay. Look, indicators, one of the indicators, let's say, we have overall GDP, gross domestic product. When Bama was leaving 2016, Now our total value of gross domestic product now 160 something billion. 100, not even 200 billion.
Okay.
As against our debt. Now our debt level, so now say 122 something billion. And when you strike the average percentage, and then I say your debt to GDP at Bahama now is 73%, which is higher than the world international standard. Ultra 70. So what I say? And so our gross domestic product was around 160 something billion, as against our debt of 200 and something billion. 122 billion. To strike average now, yes, debt to GDP was 73%. Now, akufo-addo grew the 167 billion GDP to 1.2 trillion CCR.
From
and yet 500 billion.
For 2 trillion.
And yet 700 billion. Not 8 across 900 billion. Across 1 trillion. At almost 1.2 trillion.
The economy now must end.
And the IMF only I say the economy is too strong. You heritage is too strong. So you don't need this if you manage it well. And as we speak now, our debt to GDP is 61%. We're reducing below the world international threshold. This is what we call economy somebody has built. And if you look at the international reserve, we are 4 months import cover. Sisi am target na we no budget no we reducing 4 months no at about 3 months import cover, and all this thing because of a chop budget. What is a revenue expenditure? Because we see if you don't put more on capital expenditure, how would you grow the GDP? How would you grow the GDP? And GDP not only your debt as against the GDP, which is the denominator.
Yeah.
So if you don't expand the denominator, how are you going to get a reduced debt to GDP target?
Okay, looking at Sika presidency, this is over 2.7 billion. Now we Sika agri sector. Agri sector too is the engine of growth. You be produce more.
Yeah.
Ya share ama say no ba ho do no ye sika be shem enuane be buso.
Yeah.
Etimi export to be.
Yeah.
Now to me the 2.7 eco office of the president.
Yes.
Very
good.
Now great na you be hwe ma farm inputs. You know sika fia bi na then growth no definitely.
How are you going to expect the growth? And I mean who di who come. So when you look at the budget now, the allocation is so bad to extend that it will affect the growth, and no wonder the targeting will be at the 5.7. No, I'm targeting 4%, because you see, it look as if you say you try to now you have your first budget. No, you chop near me and son you dream about the growth, and before you realize, no, you're too late. So when you look at the whole, champion, IMF is saying that you inherited a strong economy, so go there and manage it. It will grab me your GDP of 1.2 trillion. I don't see why you should come to us for $3 billion. $3 billion is how much? 2. Another reason I'm going to refuse you. I say, the IMF told them to take advantage of the good economic indicators, the economic indicators, since the indicators are in the right direction. Macroeconomic indicators now, or catch them say go and take advantage of these indicators because they are in the right direction. And they've been about watching one, a debt to GDP. You have inherited a GDP of about 1.2 trillion as against our debt. Which about 61. You left 73%. Now, in spite of COVID-19 pandemic near the now, you have brought they brought debt to our GDP 61%. Twenty is good. Inflation came to about 50 something percent.
54.
54. Now it has been reduced to about 23. It's very good trend. Go and take advantage of that. What you say? Growth. You left 3.6. Now the growth is 5.7. Take advantage. And you see the trend, you see, Uncle can't target your budget to 4%. Let me say, I am a for so they are not serious. How can you say me Baba better Ghana? Me improve no. Obi a criminally managed economy, age of 5.7. With all the professionals. Bopping, Gachi, way, and you have got a mamu very a forum, National Economic Forum, Agyapong, CSOs, Nina, also have a growth of 4%. Champion, and our Charles, then I don't think they have the men. Because indicators reach as 5.7. Also, would you go and take advantage of that? It means that. Go and really look at the budget. It's not good. No, look, targeting and IMF, they will do that because they will spit on your face because they want you to sit up.
Okay. Now, Champion, how come and what will be the way say may read the budget? My beto are there 5.7.
Yes.
Now may say may baby your money dear. May man about 4.4. May esote.
Sana make a draw. Meaning, no.
This is serious.
This is serious. All because I don't make sure I want to say the budget itself has more allocation into chop. Revenue expenditure. Near expensive and fact revenue be in the future. And when you're spending more on it.
These academics couldn't advise.
I couldn't advise. And you will sit down as a Professor Kachi, so we are head of the bar, and you will sit down for that to allocate 7 to 8 million to Ofosu Kwachi. To do what? Meanwhile, agenda 111 crabble over even 50 million gram koshemu.
And the budget, is very. This is very terrible.
And because capital expenditure, proper growth, opio your finance be on country. When you invest in revenue expenditure, once a first, Emra akufo-addo etisono. Once a good tabla academics. I'm criticizing na buying Odi Esika or Jubilee House. 327 million was spending was staff, I say, look at the money. What borrow now? What do you you will say chop. One just say borrow no chop no day.
326 million.
Statistics are by at the end and they expose them say akufo-addo was rather putting more on capital expenditure than say the chop.
Any panel also a fast staffing Bibri.
That staffing Bibri.
Our Jubilee House.
Or
the 326 million.
Who
are also a fucking 2.7
billion.
Or move from million to billion.
And people have kept quiet.
This is very serious.
It's a very serious thing. And Biden will grow from 5.7 and to 4%. And we are sitting down. What does if things fall apart? Yes.
So akufo-addo under 2024 spends about 326.9 million.
Good.
8 agencies.
8 agencies.
Flagship programs.
Very good.
Sika win or the
very good.
What I will say, be your money.
Yeah.
4 agencies.
4 agencies.
2.7 billion,
which is about 8 times of what akufo-addo spent.
This is total madness.
Why should we entertain this in Ghana?
And Ghana for a
fair. Meanwhile, Oba yanko for akufo-addo afọ mo adwuma mu na. Why you omadi? Nurse for a way you say police phobia more training crowd there. You say ya na warm say mu na mu fi on. Why we entertaining this? What you say? So if we look at the trajectory of event now, say there is no hope. What has and this is a budget. I'm catching as a professionals in Naku. So and I am telling them that look, we cannot allow you to do any proper review. We don't have them because one, all the macro indicators are pointing in the right direction. So go and take advantage. And the last one they gave, IMF was, look, IMF rejected the government to reverse the banking sector. The banking sector ya pay akufo-addo. Or yeah. Look, Mr. Akufo-addo, let me tell you, champion, I've said it, let me catch it. Me said the most we say excellent gift. Anyangupon, miami nyangupon. Or the Magana pay Akufo-addo, I'm telling you.
Agana for who is that?
Well, when is that? But you see, I was they have started saying that they send. Papa, trading me catch you say. Ubaka ko trefie. But this time, Bouti, natural TV, not sharing. Now you know, senior, we know, senior, ha. Natural, Papa, don't stress yourself. Or for that, I told you. Say, leave the Ghana problem and go and sit down. Me a stress about this time, for that, I want to. What you say? And like in spite of all the when say debt exchange here Akufo-addo here. When say saving billions cedis for data and they save billions. Emma your debt to GDP no reduce from 73% they left to 61%. Since I will have the capacity to go to international market to borrow, and as we have started borrowing
domestically, no?
Domestically.
Okay.
What you say now within a space of young family say 2 months to 3 months, we have borrowed over 70 billion, all because of good fiscal space Akufo-addo have left. Otherwise, you can't need space to borrow because debt to GDP or the fee 73% to 61%, all because of good governance. So see, look, the banking sector clean up, no. They will not allow you to reverse it. But I am a friend to bring.
They want to bring them back.
To bring these miscreant banks back. I don't get it. Look, we had people that call them business magoos, intentionally open banks, and they used to steal customers' money, open subsidiaries, and then give the subsidiary to one bank, you know, Edibegi loan. No, they are called a subsidiary. Unibank. Look, who counting the subsidiaries of BA is over 30 subsidiaries. Nina or the G loan, every Unibank took customers' money, mismanage it, and I would jack a seed to or balance sheet so. And wo asset our as compared to your debt, you know, debt in a year more all the total debt, you know, and you're more than your asset. So we are insolvent. And professionals, Professor Gadi, tell me say, when the company is insolvent, we can say over to my revive the company with liquidity support. Unless you were so look, company is insolvent, look, court, that court to nullify the company. Because the whole thing is that you see, we have two types of variables in the financial balance sheet. Your asset side and then your liability side. Look, let me tell you, see this, the demonstration. Anytime, anytime you go and borrow, it becomes a liability. Yeah. Then you are increasing your liability component and the balance sheet than your asset. So anytime you borrow, then you are pushing the company into the hands of outsiders. Okay. Because maybe I go borrow no, or you're outsider, or yeah. So anytime you borrow, you push the company to outside from your side as an owner to the owners. Okay. Into any time a company liability, I am more than the asset. Then it means the whole company belongs to outsiders. And to the person who should stand in to make sure that what the company I are buying. So good.
Na dia hotoba.
Na dia hotoba. Not taking customers no.
Meja padie 1 CD.
Yes.
Meja padie 1 CD.
Ma say
no Bob be 3
CDs.
3 CDs.
Come here outside the city.
Ya sama misika se memfa nso ase.
Memfa ase. And the Bank of Ghana, they have the policy say when you mismanage your bank, memfa say what there. Omo target ni say at times we buy customers sikano o the year long term investment enti long term we the question mu a ebi o be year the interest now the aba enti within the short period now we take a decision to do investment maybe you may be having liquidity challenges I to for normal operation into ubetuma bag of Ghana no have a bobisia kakrane di amount into investment in a mature then you bring in the money na champion winning bibi Unibank nkwa Unibank nkwa edge free Bank of Ghana almost 4 billion. We've said the time and look reporting that ho and then more power I'm say Unibank, one GMF Bank of Ghana, 4.7. And that time, the governor of Bank of Ghana, then Esiama, was a deputy also, was part of and perform supervisory to assess Kanama, Unibank. What does it? And size the man about 4 billion in and also so or lucrative money subsidiaries. What to me and sustain bank, you know. What does it? And if you take Amuabia and now Muabi or no UT Bank or Onya no to be catchebi akufo-addo. Oji or after mismanaging a bank, you know, Oji free Bank of Ghana 810 something million Ghana cedi. Can you imagine? O taxpayers' money wo enka esese abani di ye adwuma. Now hoto no remember said that time so now one nurse ni awuja okwa no akanse wala wasim enti nurses na me bisam say moya we say or the 810 million ade ma mo abi kodi ye o tax money at the Bank of Ghana and person odi tell allowance or cancel your allowance then and ode ma mo abi Asian onpo de nyankopo adom na ye de na akohye nti ya Capital Bank also applied to Bank of Ghana and our tax money and man 610 million Ghana cedi. And now when I want to so I'm up match man catch him say then I will show them the report. 610 is a 30 million
620
no the man Capital Bank. And I'm the coin, I'm the two tables, so now I'm the Sika team no be identical. Look, champion, Sasikano, open me 2 million Ghana cedi. National Juma would be creative.
Yefasi ebeto aso yedase ni nchechemu no nkrono apapa osema no pepepe owura Christian donko me wose na ma shanti o message wa ha yedase sanso and Joyce Boatin yedase for your message yeda not love I've seen your message me ma me Winnie Champion thanks for the message George Amofa